Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 352. This is your guide to the geek side, and I am one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, joined by Charlie Chuckles Carden.
I'm digging it. What's up, y'all? This is our whole network went bi-weekly, by hook or by crook, because of the holidays and what have you. So I know Todd just got back from vacationing in scenic Michigan. Yeah, there's just been a lot of crazy stuff going on. But we are settling into the holiday season and trying to get back on track, bringing you the geek love.
Yeah, we've got a really busy December coming up. We're going to have some guests, some good movies. Big movies are coming out, a lot of good TVs coming out. So a lot of things to discuss. So Charlie, because of we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife, you are the one that brought in a new guest this week. So take it from there, Charlie.
I found a ringer. You're sitting staring at one Danny Holroyd, who is the Ghostbusters guy. Certainly that I know of here in the state of Michigan, but I don't want to. I don't want to put you. I don't want to put you in the corner there, baby. Danny, tell us all about who you are and what you do.
It's all good. I'm Dan Hallroyd, and I founded the Kalamazoo Ghostbusters, and then subsequently, through a series of happenings with the Michigan Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters of Detroit, in Kalamazoo, we started, based in Unity, the Great Lakes Ghostbuster Coalition. So with more than a dozen or more, I think we're back up to about 14 or 15 groups again. Here in the state of Michigan, we come together as Ghostbusters, go to each other's parades, go to each other's charity events, things of that nature, just to go out through our fandom, much like Charlie does and other folks do with their superhero deals that they do. We just try to share a smile with people and let them have a good time. And if they see us and they smile and they've had a good time, then we've kind of done our job through our fandom. And it's something I've been in love with since 1984, seeing the original, and was doing it in 84 with a group of friends. All we had were jumpsuits and patches made of felt.
We ended high-end cosplay.
Yeah, it was very high end. Way before anybody even heard of cosplay, I was doing a lot of weird things and weird things in a good way. I guess I should qualify that. So
thank God.
Yeah, we don't everybody go out there and start looking. But we did it back in 84 and we did birthday parties and we went and emptied a gumball machine of all things. I remember this very well. About $30 we spent on these tiny 3-inch glow-in-the-dark monsters. And we emptied the gumball machine, hot glued them inside mason jars, and gave them to people as ghosts that we trapped.
Cool.
We had no packs. We had no belt accoutrements, nothing. We had nothing. Just the jumpsuit with either combat boots or really bad moon boots. Because, everybody remembers the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And so there were 4 of us running around doing this in my buddy's Volkswagen, which is not an Ecto, but he ended up hand painted the emblem on his doors. And so we did that for, I think, about 6 months, after the movie came out, and kind of died itself off. And then we went off and did our lives. But many years later, I came back to it, meeting these guys in Buchanan, and formed the Ghostbusters here in Kalamazoo, an offshoot of the Michigan Ghostbusters, and the rest is, I guess, kind of history.
Excellent. Gotcha. Todd may be a Ghostbusters lover. He is no cosplayer. So he and I do have a general rule of thumb, which will be somewhat bent for this episode. He doesn't talk about video games, and I don't talk about cosplay because ne'er the twain shall meet. But this is a different occasion because we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I wanted to bring on the guy who knows about the Ghostbusters.
Absolutely. If people that are passionate about something, I love their passion. So this is great because I am a big fan of Ghostbusters as well. I've got the Transformers Ecto 1 Transformer. That's pretty cool. I love that. And I loved to watch the cartoon back in the day. I've read some of the comics. So, but I'm not as as big as others. But yeah, it's a great it's a franchise, and I'm finally glad that it's back again, and it seems like it's in good shape. So,
and I'm in a weird spot, I guess, Charlie stating what he stated, because I love the cosplay aspect, and I also do video. I'm not a gamer, but I do play a lot of video games, and I got some of the things that I like. So I'm kind of in the middle for both of you guys. So you throw at me whatever you want to throw at me.
That's perfect.
It's good to be in the middle, and something that is very much in the middle. If you look at this week's cover, 352, number 352, from February of 1985, which is when I turned 9 years old. That was a long time ago. But this is the Mighty Thor. We're looking at everyone but the Mighty Thor on this cover, because we got Beta Ray Bill, who's smashing some. Todd, are those dark elves? What's going on here? Here's the Thor guy.
They are some type of Norse creatures. I don't know what they are.
Well, we got quite a hodgepodge here. We got it looks like we got the Warriors 3 plus Vision plus Mr. Fantastic. So this is obviously Norse something or other gets in the mix. And this is your boy Walt Simonson in the house, Todd, isn't it? That's your guy.
Absolutely. And Colossus is in the background too. So that's what there were some really cool runs with the X-Men and Avengers going to Asgard. And it was interesting because when the X-Men went to Asgard, they got different abilities. Like it was just interesting. And one of the X-Men, Mirage, I believe, she became like a Valkyrie. So really cool when they mix it up. And Beta Ray Bill was always an odd character, an alien who originally got Mjolnir, and then he got his own hammer later. So very cool crossover back in the day.
Horse Thor. Well, speaking of a horse-faced woman, I guess we were talking about that, but it's probably time to hop in the Uber, go down to the corner of Hollywood and Vine, and talk to our number one news correspondent, our favorite long-faced horsey gal, Madam Webb, in a segment we call Rumors and News. Let's go.
Now it's time for Madam Webb's Rumors and News. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Webb. And Charlie, you know what, Madam Webb? She's truly our old gray mare, and we love her the way she is.
Even if she ain't what she used to be.
Exactly. Yeah. I heard she makes a mean tofurkey, and she had many people coming over for that. I don't even think she used real tofu. I think she just picked some like baked beans and shaped it in the form of some type of bird. So there you go.
Oh, only the finest. All right, what do we got going on this time around? We're getting into December.
Correct.
And what do we have? We have actual movies in actual movie theaters. And then we have actually stuff coming on TV. So Todd, why don't you start walking us through some movies?
Yeah, so I'll filter these down to the geek-specific content that we want to talk about. So the first movie is called Encounter. Riz Ahmed is in this, and apparently it's about a decorated Marine who goes on a rescue mission to save his two sons from a mysterious alien threat. I had not heard much about this. Apparently goes in theaters on December 3rd, but then it's coming to Amazon Prime on December 10th. Riz Ahmed is a fantastic actor, so this could be cool.
Yeah, I don't know either. And again, that's kind of a short window to have something in the theater. So whatever. Hopefully they know what they're doing.
Yeah. And, by all means, if anybody has a, thumbs up, thumbs down, never heard of it, excited for it, let us know. But at this point, we've got the next movie is called Silent Night, December 3rd. And this is a comedy horror film over the holidays where a family is getting together to celebrate their last Christmas because the world is going to end.
Oh, giving new meaning to The Last Christmas by Wham. Ouch.
Yeah, this is a Keira Knightley vehicle and Matthew Good. So, that could become guilt. It could be bad because you could really appreciate your family, want to enjoy the time. Or it's like the airing of grievances and nobody has a good time. Everybody hates each other. And then you find the twist in the movie. Oh, the world didn't end, but now you all hate each other.
I've been to family get-togethers where it seems like it's the end of the world. Yeah.
I have as well. Oh, my goodness. So continuing on to get to the meaty stuff, we're going to move on to the movie that everyone is talking about that apparently no one could buy tickets to because I think people think the movie's only open for one day. That is the Spider-Man No Way Home, December 17th. If you are under a rock, you're not aware of this movie, but we are, and we are very excited for this movie.
I had zero issues getting tickets. I actually ended up getting in April and I have mentioned before the VIP program at Celebration Cinema here in Grand Rapids. We bought a pair of tickets for Thursday and a pair of tickets for Friday, and there was no issue. But yeah, you're right. The internet is full of people saying, "Oh my God, we couldn't get them," and I was online at 3:00 in the morning, and scalpers are selling them for $25,000. It's like, what are you talking about? It was the easiest thing in the world to get it. But yeah, this is the superhero kind of event of the year. I would go so far to say, because you've got and really of a lifetime bringing all these Spider-Man characters and properties together. So I'm all in on this. I'm very fired up.
Yeah,
I'm not. Are you a regular MCU viewer? Is that your thing, or?
I'm not a regular Spider-Man fan, to be honest. But seeing the preview to this, and then, like Charlie said, bringing everything together, I got excited seeing the trailer. I was like, yes, because I kept asking myself, how many times do we have to reinvent Spider-Man? Batman, all the list. I mean, we could go down a list, but this one excited me for the trailer. I thought, wow, this is going to really open up a lot of different what ifs, and who's opposite bad, who's good. Seeing Michael Keaton again, who's been damn busy doing an array of different roles, especially coming out in the new Flash thing too. But I'm excited for it. I am. I'm happy.
For sure, yeah.
And I can't wait to see Charlie just scour the internet to not get spoiled. To be like, I don't want to know anything, but I'm going to look for everything. And then he's like, look what I found, Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm waiting for many, many things to come to Charlie's attention.
Not RT. Not RT. No.
So Charlie will be like scouring and getting spoiled, and won't get spoiled because he finds out it's all articles from We Got This Covered. So,
and that and cosmic book news, and God forbid IGN, Todd's favorite.
Oh yes, Charlie, your favorite. So we move on to a movie I'm very excited about. This is Nightmare Alley on December 17th. Guillermo del Toro making a noir film with Bradley Cooper, a really great cast. And I don't know if there's going to be something supernatural about this film or not. They haven't really gone into details, but I like the way this looks. And this could be a surprise movie. So I'm excited for it. Did either of you see the trailer? I think we talked about this, Charlie, but I don't know if Danny if you saw the trailer for this.
I've seen it. There's a lot of psychological aspects, it looks like, already involved in it. So I'm sure you're going to be wondering, is any of it real? Or where's this going? That's what I got from it.
Ooh. Yeah, and the cast sounds amazing too. Richard Jenkins, Willem Dafoe, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman. Holy cow!
Yeah, and 1940s New York. Just love the era, the everyday red dresses, the guys and dolls aspect of it. So very, very cool. So interested in that. So we then move on, looking through lots of old people movies. So we keep going. They're doing things. A Favor My Son, Sing 1 was a really fun movie. Animated. Lots of singing pop songs and things like that. Matthew McConaughey, a lot of really good actors. Taron Egerton playing these pigs and things. Just very fun, very wholesome type movie. And this one's coming back, and it looks like they're trying to bring back a past pop star. I believe who's played by, I can't remember. He's a big I think it's Bono actually coming as a big like
Did you just say
lion?
Did you just say Bono?
Bono? Sonny Bono. Yes, the return of Sonny Bono.
Yes, they actually resurrected him. It's amazing.
Yes.
This one is pretty near and dear to my heart. Sing, the first, was a favorite of my late son Parker, so really deep down, know that he's watching it in heaven. So I'm excited to go out and see that one myself. So yes, bring on the bring on the Bono.
Yes,
I will say, out of all the trailers that I'd seen, sitting in the theater watching one where I'm sure we're going to get to, that came up, and I actually got tears in my eyes seeing that trailer. So that's how much I love the first one. I was in a music group when I was younger called Sing Out Kalamazoo for years.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! Awesome.
Offshoot of Up with People, yeah. So anything theater wise or singing wise, I'm on it.
No, I did not know that about you, Danny. That's fascinating.
I got secrets, man.
You're a man of many. What have you?
Yeah,
it was an all male nude review. He didn't.
Oh no,
it was. I was in college and I needed the money. Listen.
Hey, whatever takes you through. What is it? Thunder Down Under?
Right.
The boom in Kalamazoo.
It was a boom.
I'd say, yeah. Those folks down there in the Kalamazoo, the State Theater.
It was more of a trickle than it was a big boom, but moving on, I digress.
We'll move on to a movie that I'm curious if they can pull this off. Basically bring something back to its former glory after it got really tarnished after a couple of sequels, and then as The Matrix Resurrections, December 22nd, coming into theater and HBO Max. Considering the type of movie this is, though, I think I need to see this in the theater just because it is an extravaganza for the eyes and ears. But once again, I don't know if they can pull this off, or the one person can pull this off, because the sibling is not involved with this movie. But I guess we'll see. I'm excited for it, but I could be disappointed by it as well. But I won't know unless I see it.
It's the cutting edge. You don't know if you're going to get cut. What about you, Danny? Are you a Matrixer?
I am, and I was going to ask both of you. I mean, are you afraid that this is going to go down the path that like Terminator did, where they just keep banging them out and then they get worse as they go? Is there a fear? Am I the only one with that fear?
Maybe I'm the only one too. And it's in sequels that are so long after the last one, typically miss.
Yep, I agree.
I'm one of the rare in geekdom that the Matrix just never did it for me. So I don't know that I can offer a compelling opinion. I know that the third one in the trilogy was practically unwatchable. But it was one of those like, hey, we got this thing that people will go see, and it turned into Jar Jar. It turned into a Jar Jar Binks kind of trilogy. So
filming things back to back to back, ultimately doesn't always work, because you miss the opportunity to course correct, change some things. It's either all or nothing. So sometimes it works and sometimes it does not.
So you haven't heard that Disney's going to do a Jar Jar Binks anthology? No, anybody?
Oh, I'm
kidding.
Wish.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Like I said, my hope is just stick it in a super irrelevant format, like a book.
So I think we'll have the same discussion next year when we're talking about. I think we're finally talking about the Avatar movies, and talk about those movies. We're filming 3 at once.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Wow.
The next movie I am very excited for, because I've been a fan of the first 2 movies, and this is the rare prequel, but it's about the origins of the Kingsmen, taking us back to either early, I think it's World War I or around that era, with Rasputin. The Kingsmen with Ralph Fiennes just looks really, really cool, very stylistic. But I can understand why people may not be a fan, but I have really enjoyed that series.
I've enjoyed the trailers. I enjoy Ralph Fiennes, and I enjoy definitely a lot of the other people that you see in this. Daniel Bruhl is in this, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. So kind of some Marvel things happening here as well. So, I'm not as big of a fan as you, but I did remember enjoying those other movies. So yeah, I'm down.
I'm a fan for sure, and Ralph Fiennes, by all means, could still pull off another Avengers movie if they ever went back to that format, when he played John Steed and kind of went sideways with it, even though I'm a big Avenger fan from way back. The guy's still in great shape for his age, so that's one of the first things I noticed in the trailer. But that's just a side note. But yeah, I'm excited for this, basing it around Rasputin and the first, the Great War. I think there's a lot of area for them to use in this to kind of bring it back. I enjoyed the last one. It was a little different, kind of had that Buckaroo Banzai feel to it, where it was a little bit of everywhere and a little comedy and Elton John and all these other things coming up in there. It was really strange, but
the Martha Stewart villain was still an oddity that it was like guilty pleasure, kind of like the Samuel L. Jackson in the first one. They just had really weird, villains.
Who doesn't want swords for legs? Come on.
Right. Oh man, yeah, it's better than having one leg as a gun. What was that? What was that? Wasn't that a Robert Rodriguez film? Death? Yeah,
it was not Death Proof, but it was the other one. Attack. Oh God, what was it called? Yeah, it was the zombie one. Yeah, with was it Rose McGowan with the leg?
Right. Well, I remember the leg. I thought it was called Death Proof or something. What the hell do I know?
No, Death Proof was the one with Kurt Russell, where he was like the stunt man who killed people in a car. It was a different time, Charlie.
And with the gun on her leg,
it was a different time. It was a different time 2 years ago. Absolutely,
that's true. And the gun on her leg, where does she load that? Anybody?
She had to luck. Lean up against the wall, slap in that.
Keep it family friendly. I know. Keep it family.
I know. Oh my God.
Good luck with finding shoes for that leg. Oh well, we get into TV now. This is I'm gonna kind of edit this one because it's a pretty long list. So the first one, December 1st. It's always Sunny in Philadelphia. Man, it's been a long time since last season.
I don't know if I caught the last season, but I know that it was a work from home situation, so I had it on in the background. So I've been through the whole series. But I don't remember when that was. So I don't know if I don't know when the last season was, so I don't know what I missed.
Yeah, I don't remember too. I know I missed some episodes in the middle of the seasons, but I think I finally watched the last season. But yeah, good stuff. You're either in that show or you aren't. So
Right.
I'm all in though.
So it's like what Richard Gere said about opera. You either love it or you will learn to appreciate it, but it's not in your soul. Anyway.
Absolutely. I'm sure this was in many people's soul. Yeah, if they don't appreciate it. Next is Lost in Space. I believe this is the last season. This is a show I think I watched one episode of, and I was kind of like...
Yeah, it's what we call a Todd Extra special, one episode in.
It just didn't grab me. It was just like, okay, yeah, I see with it. Oh, what do we have? We've got the original robot.
Yeah. I'm a Lost in Space fan way back, and I was
Okay.
real worried when they started the series because I thought, I didn't mind the movie, with Matt LeBlanc and everybody, and I was pleasantly surprised, and it's surprised me as it's gone on, and I'm very anxious to see this. I'm very excited and see how they're going to close this out.
Well, that's good to hear, because I didn't think it was bad. It just didn't grab me. It had a different feel. I like the fact that they changed up. Dr. Smith was a woman, and it goes back. We have an old joke on this, because when Matt LeBlanc was announced, I said I can't wait. It's gonna be, yo, Chandler, I'm a spaceman from Friends. Yeah,
and it was and Todd did this. We had like a trading card or something. This is back when Todd and I were college roommates. There was a trading card, and Todd took like a piece of paper and he wrote, "Yo, Chandler, I'm a spaceman. Feel my heat," which was from Boogie Nights, and he slapped it on there. So that's all Lost in Space will ever be to me, is Matt LeBlanc talking about "Feel My Heat."
Yeah,
absolutely.
Seven thumbs down.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't over the top with that movie, but it had its certain things there.
Sure. I think was it?
You mentioned Dr. Smith. That change out in there. Parker Posey has presented a very, very uncomfortable and very sinister Dr. Smith. And I mean, there are moments where I'm almost embarrassed to watch because it's uncomfortable. That's
really?
That's how creepy I feel that she makes it.
Wow. I guess that's a good thing, maybe. What was it?
Yeah.
Was Gary Oldman the Dr. Smith in the movie?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So that's
and
fantastic. Versus
for me that I didn't like that. For me, that was like putting Eric Roberts playing the Master in Fox's version of Doctor Who.
Yeah,
I'll go way back.
That was a little chewing the scenery.
Who the hell sat at that table and decided that was a great casting idea? Drink some more.
Yeah. Well, very good. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Then we move on to December 10th, The Expanse, one of my favorite science fiction series of all time. I believe this is season 6.
And it's upside down for me, because I watched a handful, and I know that people love it.
It's a long play, Charlie. It's a long play. You have to watch at least 6 episodes. If you watch a couple, you don't have the relationships. You don't have those things. And it's just like, if you watch one episode of Star Trek, you may like, I don't get it. You're like, but you have to watch 25 episodes, I mean, so.
I love, Danny, this is a classic where basically Todd is trying to defend his religion to me. And I'm like, it's okay, baby. I love you. It's all right. Yeah. It's not a big deal, but yeah.
It's my rule with comedies. You have to watch a whole season of a comedy, because if you only watch 2, it's like, then you're missing out on everything that develops. People didn't watch 2 episode Cheers. Like, it's okay. I'm never watching Cheers again. They go with it. So yeah,
I'm on his side, because I love the show. The funny thing to me, Charlie, is that Madam President not only has appeared on The Expanse, but she's also been an admiral in Starfleet. So where are you going to go with that? I don't know if you knew that or not. She played
Madam
the admiral in Chris Pine's Star Trek.
Oh, you're talking about I even know her name.
Yeah,
she talks like this.
Her name is, because she was a villain. She was a villain on
in 24.
In season 2 of 24. Her name is Ashura Shesh Adash. I still fucked it up.
Super,
but I know
that's
she said, she gravelly sounds like my grandmother. So yeah, exactly.
Charlie, and she's married to Babu in this. Babu is the husband.
And Babu is Julian Bashir's dad in Deep Space Nine. So Star Trek it around.
And why aren't you watching this, Charlie? See, you'd be all into this. Yeah,
I think I will. Yeah, it's probably a someday. It's probably a someday.
Okay. I would say
so it's an odd day.
Give it a chance, because
all right.
They've talked to a lot of people who've worked in space, outside the conspiracy stuff. According to them, there's a lot of things they've included in this show as to how things react and what they do as far as traveling in space and what would happen to bodies. That is right on target.
I seem to remember some of that even from what I watched.
Being raised in space and how you just would have trouble coming back to Earth because you're not used to it. Your body and your bones changes. Crazy.
Yep. So I cannot wait for that. So that is coming out December 10th. Another thing that's coming out December 10th. It's a comedy fantasy with played like little people. It's called Crossing Swords. If you're into that, I think I watched it. It's very like South Parky, but fantasy. Very weird. It's there. Then we get into another show I love. Last season came out 2 years ago, and that's The Witcher, coming to Netflix, based on a series of books, also a video game series. So it's one of my favorites. Cannot see what Henry Cavill finally has a role that people want him in.
He's not the hated Superman. Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. Let's see. Then we go to moving on. Charlie, one of your favorites, I think you fell flat on, which was Letterkenny. December 26th on Hulu, coming back again.
I did, and what's funny is that our local Grand Rapids Comic-Con, and Danny will attest to this, they had a lot of the cast members there, and actually one of the panels was run by Gavin, who has been a friend of the show, and he runs a local comic shop here in Grand Rapids, and people were so fired up about these people being there, and I was just like, because I watched the show, and it just seemed it became very Family Guy to me. It ran its course. The gag was done, and then, but again, to each their own. So
don't tell Mark that he saw them in concert.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah. Well, that's a Canadian thing. Then I understand.
I'm with Charlie on his version of this too. I tried, and it ran its course, and now you're just like, eh.
I watched 2 episodes, I think, and I saw the appeal for it. But I'm like, maybe I have to keep watching. Maybe it'll really grab me. But I mean, I'm willing to give it a try. I've done that with other comedies where I'm like, keep going. So, yeah.
One of my Ghostbusters, Tom Birkenbach's a big fan, so he was happy with it. But he's always trying to get me to keep watching it. I'm like, nope, I'm done.
We will have to get his 2 cents then about this excitement.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
Speaking of excitement, and I'll take this next one because we've been talking about this for a year. Because this is the first live action Star Wars content that we've had since The Mandalorian went off at. No, that was at the beginning of this year. The Mandalorian wrapped up, but the book of Boba Fett, which was teased at the very end of that last episode of The Mandalorian, where a revived a Boba Fett back in the world again, decides to take what is his. He overthrows Jabba's old palace, and now he is the crime lord of Tatooine. So we're going to get a 9 episode, 8 or 10 episode series. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up.
It's probably in that wheelhouse. Yeah.
Yeah, but kicking off, just after on December 29th, so just after Christmas. And again, I'm really hoping they're going to do something different with this, that it's just not going to be very standard fare, like, oh, it's just a Mandalorian, but he's a whatever, and he's still wearing the armor and going around.
Can't wait till there's a kid, a space kid, or a space animal.
So, I'm just hoping that this will be a fair mix of some intrigue of, how he got to why he's doing what he's doing. And, of course, you got Ming-Na Wen in the mix as Fennec Shan, and I think she's great. So, I know, I'm fired up. You're a Star Wars guy, too, aren't you, Danny?
I am. I'm more of the Trek guy, but I love Star Wars, not as much, but I like Star Wars. But I saw that trailer, and I'm intrigued. It looks very dark compared to even the Mandalorian standard.
Right.
So, hopefully it's a darker drama, and like Charlie said, we get something out of it that's not the same fare. And I love the joke, the crack about, the kid and the space animal thing. As long as we don't get another kid in a speed race, in a racer, and pretending to be something else.
Very true.
Yeah, metformins and all this other stuff, metachlorins. Come on,
right?
Just
having them getting kidnapped, and then the plot line is, which is funny because in the Mandalorian that worked out and it was great, but 9 times out of 10, the kid who gets kidnapped plot line is not anything to write home about. So. Let's hope not.
Where's the go? Yeah.
Fun fact: this is actually just a business show. It's all going to be about running a business, and deals go bad, and then you have to take your boss out for lunch and win back the client. It's going to be fantastic. That's all it is. Space business.
There it is.
Space
Yes,
business, yeah.
The space book of space business. There you go.
Yes,
Space version
And
of
we
Mad Men. Yeah.
exactly. With suits and briefcases and
Yep.
lots of drugs and illicit sex, and then the guy goes off on a retreat, and it's actually
My kind of
it's
show.
not actually
Yeah.
Boba Fett. It's not Boba Fett. It's actually Jar Jar Binks in disguise.
Oh, it was all along. My God.
Exactly. Then we wrap up the year, December 31st, with a favorite of, I think, everybody. I don't know anybody who doesn't like the show, Cobra Kai. So, wow,
Totally.
talk about, I guess they're like captive audience. You're not going anywhere. Well, maybe you are. I don't know. December 31st. This would have been a good January 1st show, because it's like you're home, you're hungover, watch this, versus now you're not going to go out because you're going to be too busy watching this. And you don't even go out on, January 31st.
Well, I'm going to refer to you two gentlemen because I've not watched any of them, and so I'd like your feedback. Is it something I should sit and binge and watch this and really get into it? Or?
Absolutely, it's great. And again, Danny, as you mentioned, you were into Ghostbusters, so you grew up in the '80s, so you're very into that kind of stuff. And I think that this miniseries, and again, this is season 4, Todd, 4 or 3?
I think season 4. Yeah, this was a YouTube original that why does YouTube have shows? Netflix took it over, and it just found a bigger audience, and it's wonderful. It takes all of the movie content, dips into them as needed, and flips the scripts multiple times, and really just touches on some really cool stuff. Yeah, it's nostalgic, but I enjoy that.
Right. I agree. Yeah, we all of us children in the 80s look through our nostalgia colored glasses to some variety. So yeah, this really clicked with me. But and Danny, without having watched it, we're not going to talk too much about obviously what the main theme is, but it's a little bite size 10 episode seasons. And Todd, are they 30 minutes? Are they 60 minutes?
It's like 45 minutes.
Yeah. Right. So it's why throw it on in the background when you're doing something else, but or watch it intently. However it is that you watch stuff. I'm more of the former because of my ADD. So I'm just like, there's something going on.
I'm the same way. Yeah, I got 10
projects
projects going at one time. Yeah.
Look, jingling keys. I'm very happy.
It's a show that's very easy to keep watching.
Kindred. Yeah, I'm the same way. I am.
Yeah.
It's a very easy show. It's very soap opera at points, like a lot of drama. And it's like, oh, I got to watch what's going to happen next. So yeah, it's a very bingeable show if you have the penchant for doing that. So that is it for shows to get you through the month of December, take you into the new year. So hopefully you enjoy those. If anything we missed that you'd recommend, let us know. And tell Charlie why he needs to watch Expanse. Thank you. We're moving on.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So this story I thought was interesting because, we don't have another confirmed date for another Disney Plus show yet. We have periods of unconfirmed dates. And one show that was supposed to come out was Rangers of the New Republic. We had the Gina Carano stuff. We don't even know if the show was fully developed, what was going to happen. They said no scripts were actually made. So essentially they're saying now that the plot points and things that were potentially going to happen in that show will now be rolled into The Mandalorian, which is probably a smart thing because without a baby Yoda moving them forward, they need some new plot points. So this would be very cool to see maybe The Mandalorian team up with some Rangers of the New Republic, go off on some X-Wing missions, do some cool stuff. I think this could be cool.
What kind of gives me the red ass, as it were, is that we had this big announcement, and again, it's almost a year gone by, where Lucasfilm came out on Star, and they're like, look at these 9 projects, and then it was right around the time that Mark and I were starting the Holocron Chronicles, so we did a whole blurb on this. We were like, ooh, we're so excited. Now come to find out they've announced all this stuff, and it's like
2 are dead already.
We came up with a name and absolutely nothing to back it up. I find that to be very frustrating. Because it's very, look at this marketing bullshit. Woo, smoke, mirrors. There's no oomph to it. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I think that sucks. And again, they've killed one, which was the only film on the slate, which was Patty Jenkins doing Rogue Squadron, which Mark and I were really fired up about because we love X-Wing stuff. That's the main thing I love in Star Wars is X-Wing drama. You got my pilot helmet behind me. I have a squadron that I made up that's a cosplay group, and I have cosplay costumes, so I love the X-Wing stuff. So, comparatively, when I see this, it's like, oh, well, there was never going to be anything anyway, so it's really not a big deal that we killed it or whatever. That's bullshit. I don't like that. That's kind of... I know Kathleen Kennedy's behind it.
And the funny part is, If they truly are going to launch Mandalorian, which we thought was going to come this year, Boba Fett is, and this is coming, and Mandalorian is coming in 2022. If they're saying we're going to incorporate those ideas, well, the Gina Carano stuff happened 6 months ago or whatever. So how long in the tooth is this series going to launch? Is it going to be a December 2022? Maybe.
I don't know.
Guess, Charlie. I think it's going to be December 2022.
Yeah, I mean, well, they're basically functioning in a 12-month window for the non-animated, the animated stuff. They're cranking out like nobody's business, but the live action stuff, it's like once a year. So I find it disappointing. I'm no fan of Carano after the things that she said and did, and the comparisons she thought it was appropriate to make. We don't need to go into that. I'm not a fan of her personally, so I certainly don't support her. So it's fine with me that she's out of the picture. But the fact that they had this project in name only, and then, like you said, this was back in the summertime that all this went down with her, and now they're giving us, we decided to kill it. We decided to kill it, but there was nothing to it. It kind of sucks. I don't like it.
So, Charlie, I shouldn't have created that poster for you. Charlie loves The Expanse. He's going to review it next year. Is that too soon?
I want you to expand that deadline. Keep expanding.
Yeah. So Danny, I mean, are you keeping up with the Disney Plus stuff? Are you, are you enjoying it?
I catch some things mainly that we have it for the grandkids. So again, some of the Star Wars stuff. I watched The Mandalorian, of course, got hooked, and that was done very well. Loved the way they, the finale there, so everybody already knows about what happened there. I don't know. I'm with Charlie on the X-Wing thing. I remember when that was announced, again, just being kind of the low type of fan on Star Wars stuff. I was excited about that because I'd like to see them explore the Rebel side of things, being that you get more of a picture about why you joined, what's going on, kind of draw it out a little bit more, and see more of the X-Wing stuff, because you've already covered all the Empire and all the other stuff. So why don't we swing back the other direction? Even this thing that's happening, with Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm thinking, how much are you going to throw in here in this story between this and this to where he just keeps wanting to disappear? Is he really going to make a difference? I'm wondering where these storylines are going to go, that maybe it's going to make a difference and he doesn't realize as he keeps trying to hide away, one of those deals. So I'm watching that. I don't know. I'm just watching to see what happens. It seems to me over there, depending on whatever's going on, there's been shakeups, firing and hiring and politics and all this stuff. And unfortunately, Disney's, involved themselves in that. And we know what that does to a lot of franchises. It starts shooting holes in the boat. And then they're trying to throw things out, like you said, with marketing employees to get people to come running. And then they don't come through with the product. And you're like, well, we're all here with the money. We're here flashing our cards. What's happening next? And they kind of leave it high and dry. I'm glad Paramount got their act together, at least for a little while. Because they fell into that same thing too. And we're shooting it to death. And from what I've seen so far, and I just caught up with Discovery, not to get off track there, but, in the same thing. I'm happy with what I saw, some of the direction going, and still not happy with them like, well, this is canon and this isn't, and this is this universe. After a while, it gets to be a little redunculous, but back to Star Wars and Disney, I don't know. Like I said, I want them to, put more of their older content out there that, they're deeming that it might be, a trigger for some folks, because a lot of the stuff I grew up with, we as innocent kids were just like, listen, we didn't care, didn't know. It's entertainment. Disney, just please stop. Just put your stuff out there. If you got warnings on it, cool, whatever, go forward. But I'm with you guys on the Star Wars thing. Someone needs to have their head slapped and figure out what's going on over there. Because they're killing the Muppets off too, guys. I mean, what are you guys doing with the Muppets over there?
Oh, did you watch? I actually watch the Muppets Halloween special. I adored. I thought it was great.
It was. That was fun.
It was one of the rare ones, but the excellent songs though. If you like musicals, that thing blew me away. I loved it. But I do say I want more Star in my wars. Charlie, you guys love the X-Wing stuff. There's so little space battles in Star Wars. It's almost all like 90% on a planet. And I'm like, take me on our space. I still think the last, was it The Last Jedi? The opening sequence.
Oh, yeah.
With Poe Dameron. was one of the coolest things I've ever saw in my life when he does like the U-turn and does that stuff.
Right.
I'm like, I want more of that. So please get us back in space, having big space battles. I mean,
Right.
It's not Land Wars.
It's
Tatooine Wars.
Todd, are you trying to tell me it's not the taxation of the outlying trade routes?
It could be, I guess, if it's a good spin-off. I mean, we all love a good tax drama. Everybody loves April 15th.
Yeah. Anything
Everybody loves April 15th. We know that. Well, moving on. Hopefully they fix their ship. We get cool storylines. We get some more X-Wing stuff. Space stuff would be really cool in Star Wars. But we're going to move on to the last story, which is a lighter note, which we saw a teaser during DC Fandom of the League of Super Pets. Now we have a full trailer. And I just love when DC just goes all in on goofiness and animated stuff. And this one just really made me laugh. It's really cool. It's very fun. It's not grim and gritty. It is very fun. And this is all about Crypto being Superman's dog, full on powers. Right. Superman, something bad happens to him. And then something happens where all of these pets, including a pig, a squirrel, another dog, a cat, are given superpowers and they have to save the day.
It's this is to me, I loved it. It's a Secret Life of Pets, bent on that Warner Brothers slate. And it's not with everything that DC has been through in recent years with the Snyderverse and BVS and Martha and all that. This is at least something that is just 100% fun. And it's the greatest. I'm fired up for this. Trailer said next summer. I can't wait.
May 20th, 2022, kicking off the summer season.
Yep. I would love to see this like nobody's business. This looks fantastic.
Man, the merchandising and the marketing for the kids is going to be fantastic for this. That's coming.
I got it. Yes, I have. I'll take other people's children to see this movie. I want to see it so much because it looks like
there'll
fun.
be so much gear you want to buy for your own pets too.
Yeah, I know.
Capes, collars. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, that'll be fun. So that'll be good. And will hopefully be a sign of theater starting to roar back to life by the time we get to next summer. Omicron variant, the new Star Wars novel, Star Trek novel notwithstanding.
But we didn't get an appearance by Ace the Bat Hound, so I'm going to guess it's probably going to be a
just wondering about
cameo.
That, did Robin ever have a pet like Batman and Superman did?
Well, Stripesy, the super cat? No, probably not. I don't know. He got a parakeet. I don't know.
Oh well.
Yeah. I was going to say that. That's weird. Yeah, maybe Robin had a parakeet. Yeah.
I think particularly you're thinking about Burt Ward Robin. I think that fits the bill like a motherfucker. Pardon my French.
Oh my goodness. Is that French?
Holy shit.
It's French.
Yeah. That's what my mother always said. That's not French.
Oh, and by the way, Charlie, McFarlane is putting out Batman 66 figures and they're hilarious. It's from
I know.
They look great. Yeah.
I know. I contemplating adding another portion of the shelf, but a
Batmobile to go along with it too.
I know. I try to keep my figures under control. I'm trying.
Oh well. Well, that is it for the news. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Ending on a positive, things to look forward to. So very cool in the world of nerd. And we have more to look forward to this month. So stay tuned on the same Bat channel, as they say.
Indeed.
Same Bat time, same Bat channel.
While we're doing that, we'll get in the Batmobile. Maybe we'll have to hotwire it. I don't know. We're going to go down to the gnarliest neighborhood in Geek Town, where we find the dilapidated, the underground, the Geek Easy, to talk about what we are digging. So let's go.
Talk nerdy to me. Talk nerdy to me.
We're sitting in the Geek Easy, the cover band's playing, drinks are poured, and we are ready to get our nerd on. Oh my goodness, Charlie. Over the holiday, we had 2 weeks, so probably watched a lot. So you were probably watching the same thing I did, and maybe Danny did as well.
Yes, I was eagerly awaiting the next Marvel program. We've had 3 in the last year. We had Falcon Winter Soldier, we had Loki, we had WandaVision, we had the What If was the animated, and now we have Hawkeye. 6 episodes of Hawkeye, Todd's favorite Avenger. But this is actually, it's kind of a fun retelling or incorporates elements of the storyline that Todd and I said we were going to read and haven't. That would be the Matt Fraction run on the title from maybe 10 years ago. where he did it. He did a little limited series where Hawkeye was kind of street level. He had a dog named Pizza Dog, which you see incorporated into this. But this is also an opportunity to introduce Haley Stenfield as Kate Bishop, the young, idealistic, overachieving female archer who is now a major character in the comics. So on Thanksgiving, was it on Thanksgiving Day?
It was December 24th, November 24th, so the day before Thanksgiving. Yeah,
right. We got a drop of this new series, which was first 2 episodes, very very fun. A somewhat irreverent take. She's kind of a Hawkeye fangirl because when she was a child, Hawkeye, someone inadvertently saved her life during the Battle of New York. Sorry about spoilers, but I won't say a whole lot more in case you haven't seen. Have you guys seen both episodes?
I saw both. Yes, I was trying to remember if there was 3 or not. So I'm like, oh yeah, we watched both. Yeah. My wife loved it. We watched the second together. She really enjoyed it. I am a huge Haley Steinfeld fan. Ever since True Grit, I saw her in that movie. I'm like, this girl has chops. She's fantastic. And then she did Pitch Perfect after that. So she's no, she doesn't pick. She did some other movies. Was she in that too?
Yeah, she was. I saw somebody did a graph of recently. Oh, here's different movies she was in and blah blah. And yeah, she nailed it in that. And she had her own little. She had her own solo record or something. So
yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
So this occurred December 2024. So it's in real time. It's after Endgame, so it's right around that time period.
Right, Danny, did you see it?
No, every one you just noted is on my list. So that during winter, I knew I was going to sit and go through and watch all of them.
Right.
I've been tied up with so many other, like I said, so many other projects. So that is on my list. I'm not a Marvel hater by any means. If anybody thinks that, I'm more prone to DC, but Marvel. Growing up as a kid, I remember when Iron Man first showed his wings. I'm that old type of deal. But I'm excited to see some of it. Everybody was telling me great things about all of these. And speaking of the actor who plays Hawkeye, my wife began watching a show, and I don't know which network it's on. It's called The Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh yeah, that just launched.
Yeah, and so he plays the main character in there. So there's a part in there, a little spoiler, which I found rather funny, where he comes across a bear, and it's supposed to take place in Michigan, the series. So he comes across a bear on his property, and of course he comes out with a compound bow, shooting at a raccoon, and gets really close to him. Like he could have hit him if he wanted to. And I, of course, got excited, and my wife was looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, "That's Hawkeye, Hello,
it's Hawkeye.
It's Hawkeye.
Kingston, Michigan. Then interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they filmed
place.
They filmed most of it in Ontario, but they filmed some scenes in Kingston. But it's called Kingstown, so it's a made-up thing, much like they did with Battle Creek.
Anything about those Canadians stealing our film dollars?
Every time they do a thing about Michigan, like I was going to note with Battle Creek, it's like, well, you had I think the pilot had some scenes in Battle Creek, and then later they're chasing people down, and I see the mountains in California. They're that bad with their continuity.
I will never forget in Star Trek Enterprise in season 3, there was a time travel exploit where Scott Bakula, Captain Archer, and his first officer had to chase these aliens into the past into Detroit, Michigan in 2003, which could have been convincing until the exact things ended in a warehouse and they're taking the bad guy away, and the pull-out shot pulls back. The sun is rising over the beautiful mountains of Detroit, Michigan.
Chula Vista Mountains. Yeah, you're just
Mount
like, what
Ontario.
In the world?
You can see it from the Detroit River. Yes.
Look, I can see Pine Knob from here. It's a mountain.
That's funny.
That's correct. That is
correct.
Side
note, I will tell you, Charlie, I was pretty moved in Discovery when they unveiled the new space dock, and it was the Archer.
Yes.
I was like, yes. The theme.
They played the Enterprise fanfare. So, Todd, are you up on Discovery? Not that we need to get into that.
No, because I was out of town, obviously. So I will catch up. I'm what is it? There are 2 episodes out now.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so I watched the
episode 3 will be out
intro.
this
Yep.
week, yeah.
Yep. Very cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
And
okay.
I was going to say, and Hawkeye is I would say it's a different type of Marvel show. So once again, with Eternals, they're doing some different things, and they were saying, "Oh, it's not as big." I'm like, this is definitely a lower key show with some really funny sense of humor. And Charlie, I started reading the Hawkeye book, which I recommend you read it as well, because it's pretty close with some things. And one of the things I love, the tracksuit mafia, they're full in on the bro. There's so many bros.
I know
There's so
what
many
that
bros.
is.
Yeah.
That is funny. That's funny.
Bro, you got
time for a quick side story? Speaking of tracksuit mafia,
it better be quick, because I know your quick stories, Dan.
No, it'll be quick. I promise. So, short of it is, they were telling me to retire because I've had some medical things, so I'm disabled now, and I refused. So I ended up taking a job delivering auto parts, and once a week I'd take stuff to Chicago. So I go to this place, which is in Calumet, and then I moved up a little head of South Chicago, and it's a Russian body shop. And I get there, and there's an iron door. I'm not making this up. So you beat on the door. I got this door from a Hummer that I'm supposed to drop off because they needed to redo a Hummer. And guide slides open the thing. He goes, yes. And I mean, just like that. And I go, I'm here with your door. Such and such. And he's like, okay. And I hear all these bolts going on this door. Opens up. My wife went with me on the trip. She's sitting in the van. I told her, lock the doors.
Yeah, I was going to say, shotgun like this.
Yeah. So I get in there, and immediately I go into the left. I give the guy the door. He picks it up like it's nothing. This guy is massive, wearing a tracksuit. No joke. Moves it off to a wall. He takes me in to get the paperwork signed. I go into the office to the left, and this dog charges me, this big, huge pit bull. And there's guys on a couch. They're in tracksuits. This guy's in a tracksuit, and the guy behind the desk is wearing a suit. And he screams something, I swear in Russian or Czech, at that dog, and that dog, heeled and stopped right at my shins as just looking at me. And then he yelled at it again. It went under the desk. And the first thing out of the guy's mouth to me was like, "You like dogs?" And I go, "Absolutely. I got a dog at home, and I love dogs." He's like, "Good.
Please,
he's like,
don't feed me to the dog.
Yeah. So I look at these guys, and they're just staring at me, smoking stogies, and signs it. I go out of there, and that was my story. So Russian mafia in track.
You're like, I'd rather be in Gary, Indiana. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Hummer fell off the back of a truck, so that's why it needs a new door.
Literally, it wasn't riddled with bullet holes back buried underneath the body. Exactly.
Oh yeah, there's other stories about Chicago. I'm not sure I was always delivering on the level there, but hey,
we found it in the middle of Lake Michigan somehow. I don't know how we found that Hummer.
I don't know. I got there. All right, let me wrap this up. I've been a music guy my whole life, since preteen years, and my entry into pop music, besides having a Weird Al cassette when I was a kid, or getting my first copy of Thriller when I was 7 years old, was visiting the East Grand Rapids Library. Blocks from the house. I live in the house I grew up in, so it's all the old neighborhood. But getting basically the Beatles Red and Blue album, these double LPs. This was in 1988. Double LPs of all their greatest hits. So that made me a fan for life. I'm super well versed in the Beatles. I wrote a college term paper on Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band without ever having to listen to it while I did it, because I knew it so well. And I got an F. No, I'm just kidding. I believe I got an A. But anyway, one of the golden idols, the Great White Buffaloes of Beatles projects, was the Get It Back documentary, which was recorded. It starts off, and again, it was just recently, all 3 parts released on Disney Plus. Was chronicled, it chronicled the Beatles' effort to create both a new album and a live television special at the same time. And there were 60 hours of footage trimmed down to these, 8.5 or 9 hours across these specials. And it is just, and even April, watching it in April, my wife, is a fan of the Beatles as well, but I don't think not many people have my depth of research in it. So, but she really commented that this is a very emotionally packed documentary where you even see the Beatles crying because they know that they're falling apart. start. I mean, it's pretty heavy. The third segment is really dedicated to the famous rooftop concert, the Beatles' final live performance that happened at the end of 1969 on the roof of the Apple building in Savile Row in London. And it's absolutely fascinating. And again, it's out there to be seen. This also kind of spurned me dusting off something I've not watched in probably close to 15 years, the Beatles Anthology, which was a documentary series that the three surviving Beatles put together in the mid-90s. It's all doco-style stuff. I just have it on DVD because it doesn't exist anywhere. And when I looked up what the DVD value was, I bought it in probably 2006. It's now worth hundreds of dollars to buy this documentary. So I'm holding on to this thing for grim death. I don't care if it looks ugly on SD. But no, April and I have been watching it and enjoying it. So yeah, the Beatles have really always been it for me when it comes to music. To me, it's kind of the barometer that everything that has come beyond it owes something to. So I find it absolutely fascinating. I'm in a little Beatlemania stint myself right now because of this. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, and Peter Jackson he was behind getting this all together. Right. So, and he's a tremendous filmmaker. So having someone like that, having an eye, understanding how it works and paring those hours down. I heard tremendous things. It's just very long. So you got to be in for a ride for that one. So that's very cool though. I remember when the anthology special came out, it was a big deal because it's like, this is their catalog. And then it was like, it was just a big deal. I remember at the time, like, that's cool.
Well, yeah, it was the video release. And then there was 3 double albums comprised of the vast majority of unreleased material, which was great. But it was little outtakes like, the Beatles did this cover, but then here's an original song you've never heard before. And we were all just like, ooh. Yeah, it's really something.
Yeah, apparently there was like a big deal. It was like you got it like the mono version, which people said was the better version, which is just kind of blows your mind that you'd think a mono version is better. But, oh, well. Very cool. Very cool. It's neat to see this. And it's weird that it's coming to Disney Plus because it's like, don't know why, but very cool.
Because Disney owns everything, don't you know?
Did they buy it for Michael Jackson?
Well, it's easier now that he's dead.
They robbed his grave, shook his corpse.
Give it to me, shake it loose.
And that is
true. And if you look right there, I've got him in that trap right there, and he's not getting out of my goodness.
Oh,
it is good.
That's a scary proposition right there, the ghost of Michael Jackson.
Oh,
well. Hey, Danny, you been reading or watching anything cool?
I haven't been able to have a lot of time to myself to do any reading, and I'm a big reader. I really am. I do a lot of historic reading, if I do any reading at all, not so much on some of my fandoms. I'll do a lot of stuff on, War of 1812, Lincoln. I mean, just a lot of different things throughout history, a lot of British and European type stuff too that I'm interested in as well. But as far as watching too much lately, I mean, the main thing that's been on my radar, a lot of people's radar, of course, was the Ghostbusters Afterlife. Just waiting for this thing to come out. And, I had some trepidation. I called it from day one. I said it's going to be a kid's movie. There's going to be a handoff. No
spoilers, Dan. We're going to talk about that in the Thunderdome because we're going to really get into it. So don't show your hand yet.
No spoilers. But I was surprised. So that's the main thing I focused on. As far as watching anything, we've been picking up a lot of older series that are out there, like Lucifer. We followed up with that this year and finally watched the ending. And I don't know that I was truly happy with how they ended it because I just fell in love with the show when it was on network TV and then when they brought it over. But I remember seeing Tom Ellis years ago on a comedy show, and I'm forgetting the actress's name or the show, but it was a British show, and she owned a shop, and he was next door as a chef. And when Lucifer first aired, I said, "Hey, that's that Tom Ellis guy from that, that British show," because a lot of British shows make it over here on the PBS, and we watch that. But we watch a lot of foreign things too. We watch a lot of Norwegian and Swedish crime shows. I find them to sometimes be more action packed and written better than some of our American cousin versions of some of the stuff. So Ghosts, that's the one that I've been catching up with on CBS, and I love it.
Did you watch the British version?
Yeah, I did, and I didn't think I was going to like the American version, and then of course when they did the Ghostbusters spiel on it, I was dying.
It's got
It
the
was,
girl from
Twilight.
iZombie now in the lead role, which I
Oh.
thought she was great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that because I really like the British show, and that's great that they're bringing it over, in their own way.
Yeah, they put it together really well. I mean, it's real simplified, but it's still funny.
Yeah,
Pretty funny.
Charlie, you and April may like that show. It's just a comedy where they go to a house and the woman can see ghosts, and it's hilarious.
There's
It's
generations of them. Yeah,
It's like some ghosts are really, really old. Like there's like a Viking ghost who's like angry and just very funny.
Oh no! Oh,
I think
my
you
God.
like it.
There's
Yeah,
a Cub Scout troop leader who has an arrow through his neck, I think, because one of his troops shot him.
yeah.
Oh, good
He's
God.
talking about safety, and they shoot him in the neck. Yeah,
Exactly. Just a great,
boy.
very, very funny show. Highly
Oh, my
recommended.
goodness.
Well, very
Yeah, the
cool.
Indian, the Native American on there is quite hilarious too, because they're like, "How come you don't speak with an accent?" He's like, 500 years, duh. Yeah,
Yeah, listening
my
to you.
God.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool. I need to watch the new show, but yeah, I wanted to watch the BBC one as well. So yeah, excellent. Well, really quickly for me, Cowboy Bebop. I think I had mentioned this that it was coming. I think we watched a trailer, Charlie.
Mhm.
So I kicked off the first episode. That's all I've watched so far. Really, really enjoyed it. It is taking the essence of the show and building upon it, which I think is a really cool thing. The style is good. The acting is great. They changed some things up, and it was funny because my wife just decided to watch it by herself, and I'm like, are you watching that already? I need to watch this too. So I watched it with her. Then I came and watched the beginning again, and then I said, okay, well, let's watch the anime to see what you think, how they correspond. So we watched both, and she was like, it's kind of cool how they made an animated thing. They captured the heart of it and made it look good. So I know it's controversial, but I enjoy both. A lot of people say, oh, it's not as good as... I'm like, I like both. So, come in with an open mind. I think you'd like it. Even if you have not watched it, like my wife hadn't, she really liked it. It was really cool. It's a sci-fi bounty hunter show. Best way to put it.
Gotcha.
With a little bit of charm, good soundtrack. It's a very jazz-heavy soundtrack. My son loves jazz now. So we were listening to the soundtrack. Soundtrack is fantastic. If you like jazz, it's all in. Horns, erratic beats and things. Very, very cool.
yeah,
It's
and
the
you're
same
speaking foreign to me, so I don't even know what this is. So what is it called?
Cowboy Bebop. So apparently in Japan they call cowboys are bounty hunters. Apparently that's what their name for it. And Bebop is the name of the ship.
Anime.
Yeah,
The original
is anime, but now this is live action with John Chu, and it's very stylistic, very well done, very violent, but very fun.
I kind of stepped out of anime as far back as Akira.
This is like
and
early
not
late
because
90s.
I didn't like it. Not because I didn't like it. I went to art school in Arizona, so I was in love with a lot of anime at the time. But once I graduated in '90, I was just kind of like, same with the comic book collecting. I just kind of tailed off. We had the Frank Miller stuff and, Batman, Dark Knight. And so I have not kept up to the anime. So when I see a lot of these characters that cosplaying this stuff at the Comic-Cons, I am so lost. And I feel so old because I'm just like, I don't know who you're supposed to be. And I remember one time there was a lady walking through and we thought it was Carmen Sandiego. The way she's dressed, and she lit us up. She's like, I am so-and-so. I'm a lawyer from such and such. And we're all standing there in our Ghostbuster garb like, I think we just insulted her. I'm really sorry. I don't.
Aren't you a plumber, by the way? Oh, just kidding.
From House. Yeah.
Well, I will say, watch the trailer for Cowboy Bebop on Netflix, and if it doesn't grab you, it may not be for you, but it's a very fun, just heist. First episode is a heist, and it's just, or they're going after somebody that they're going, tracking down as a bounty. So it's very much a simple show with some overarching details. So check it out. I enjoyed it. I'm going to watch the rest of it with my wife because she really enjoyed it. Then The Wheel of Time. We talked about this as well previously. I watched the first episode of this. This is a big, huge, epic fantasy. Break it down. Basically, there's a group of magic users who are primarily female. They are tracking down the reincarnation of the World Ender, or someone who bring about the World Ender, called Dragon. And so this group is searching this village for someone they think is that person reincarnated, trying to find it, and things go horribly wrong. This show, I like it a lot. I didn't read the books. A lot of people are big fans. It's mixed results because people are saying, oh, it doesn't look that great. It varies. But for someone who's new to the series that's never read the books, I'm enjoying it. And I will watch more because it was really intriguing. I like the cast of characters. I think it's well done. Apparently, Amazon spent $10 million an episode. So production values are high, and the special effects is good. So check out Wheel of Time. I
10
think
million an episode.
10 million an episode. That's more than Game of Thrones.
Holy
My
Lord!
God. Yeah, it better be. And again, I just the return on investment protocol for these kind of things, I still don't get it, but it's not for me to get.
Amazon's not hurting, Charlie. They're like one of the biggest companies in the world. They know
Yeah.
they want people to use their app and all their services
Right.
and order something off of their Echo account because they want to have Alexa do everything for them. So yeah, it's just putting more money against the Amazon Prime so you don't unsubscribe.
Right.
Well,
fair.
we had eyeballed that, so now that you're kind of giving it a good talk up, maybe we'll check it out. We were
Add it to the list,
wondering if
Danny.
you were
Add it to the
Oh my
list.
God.
I will.
At the
I
end
just
of the
did. I wrote
list.
it down.
Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of the list, we better pop off a flare into the sky to flag down that the old flyer to get us over to the land down under, to the Thunderdome, where we're going to talk about Ghostbusters Afterlife. So let's go.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
Thank you, Tina. We're sitting in the Thunderdome where the mutants have been gathered for a topic or a game to be entertained. And this week, we are doing our review, spoiler-filled, by the way, of Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is a formerly 2020 film that was delayed to March 5th and then November 19th, I believe, is when we finally all saw it. This is when a single mother and her two kids arrive in a small town. They discover their connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. Jason Reitman directed this, co-written by Gil Keenan, and including a cast of multitudes. Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, McKenna Grace, Paul Rudd, Logan Kim, Celeste O'Connor, Joss Gad, J.K. Simmons, and Olivia Wilde, who I didn't even recognize.
No, it was Danny and I have a mutual friend, Joe, who pointed out to me that was Olivia Wilde, and I was like, "Shut up!" But yeah, I just going back and looking at it, and I love J.K. Simmons as Ivo Shandor, who was obviously the crazy mastermind of the original film, just getting ripped in half by.
How much did he get paid for this role that he was literally in it for as a corpse and said two things?
I'm of a mind that there's going to be footage that they cut a lot out. They had a whole year to do what they were going to do in the process, and I can't believe they would have somebody of his stature, as far as character actor, only have that small bit of a part. I'm sure there's more we're going to see when they release the special edition or extended scenes, because we found that a little let down, a lot of us who went to see this and premiered these at theaters with my group. And once that happened, we thought there's got to be more to this. Why would they just have that a few seconds and then he's torn in half and we're just like, okay, then. But you're right. Maybe he took the money and said, I'll do this thing. And
he's too expensive for that. Yeah, he's too expensive for that. He's making J.K. He's making J. Jonah Jameson money there. So we'll talk about that at the end, about kind of some of the cameos and things we had in this movie. But ultimately, this is a love letter, essentially the third official Ghostbusters sequel. There was a video game that actually I played, and I didn't get to finish it, but it was treated like a Ghostbusters sequel because it had all the voice talent. Bill Murray, and it's hard to get Bill Murray to do anything that's not like a weird like indie film these days. But we also had Ghostbusters cartoons back in the day, all these things, Extreme Ghostbusters because everything's extreme, comics and everything. So this is after we got the reboot that whether you like it or didn't, that's not to say, but this is essentially carrying on the chronology of the Ghostbusters proper in a completely different setting out in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, apparently. And so, we'll go from there. So the movie, I saw it with my family in Oxford, Michigan, just to get together with the family for Thanksgiving. It was something we wanted to do. We had a blast. It was a good time. And I will say everybody there enjoyed it. And there was ages from 12 to my mother's age. And my mom, seeing a movie with my mother, holy cow, you get basically a commentary. Oh, oh,
Mhm.
what are they doing? Oh my goodness. I'm like, I looked over and
That-
like, Mom,
that is
I gave her the stink
lit-
eye. I'm like, Mom?
That is literally what Todd's mother sounds like. It's not. That's not even. He's not even sending her up. She talks. She kind of has the Pillsbury Doughboy voice sometimes. She's like, "Ooh,
Yes, and she's my mom is infamous because when she was out to visit us,
oh,
we saw The Force Awakens, and my mother's coming out of the movie theater. The crowd's lined up. She goes, "I can't believe Han Solo died." I'm like, "Mom, you're getting killed." It's like Homer walking out of whatever movie it was in The Simpsons.
Yeah, it was The Empire Strikes Back. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe that Darth Vader is Luke's father." It was the exact same thing.
Yeah, so it was great. But we had a great time. So it was really good. So Charlie, when did you see it?
Had to see. April and I went. I think we ended up going on a Friday, and I was such an idiot because I thought the movie tickets said 7:40. They said 7:20. We're standing online for popcorn, and she's like, "Yeah, it's 7:20." And we're like, so we walked in at what we were assuming was the very beginning when he's driving through the cornfield or whatever. So I don't know if there's any. I know it's never happened to me in my life that I walked into a movie.
So
later,
you missed like a lot of the movie.
No, and the cornfield in the beginning when it's Egon.
Yeah, there was Egon. Okay, God, I thought you were talking the kid.
Yeah.
Like, you missed like the first 30 minutes of the movie.
No.
Okay,
No,
okay.
it was when Egon was obviously on the run from a
Were there no
ghost.
credits? Were there no trailers?
No, we missed that.
Oh.
No, we walked in late because we were having dinner and then we were just putzing about, and I swore that the movie time was like 20 minutes after the fact. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And we had to run and get in there. So yeah, it was quite a kerfuffle.
Danny can't even look at you in the eye right now. He's like, "What are you doing, Colin?
I guess. How
dare
dare
you?
oh,
Sir?
he's judging me.
How
He's
dare
judging
you,
me with
sir.
that. He's judging me with that tracksuit mafia look. Just
Yeah. No,
Seriously,
I'd almost.
bro. Seriously,
yeah.
bro.
come on, bro. What are you doing, bro?
I will tell you, you know, the beginning part for me was fantastic. Because again, the acknowledgement of Ghost Corps. Those people listening may not realize that Ghost Corps is a real thing, which is owned by Ivan Reitman, Dan Aykroyd, and of course backed by Sony, and you know the whole Ghostbuster franchise.
I was wondering what that was. I didn't.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, what is that? I didn't know.
Yeah, they did it with the Girls movie too, but it is a real thing. I have a certificate here, which doesn't mean a lot in certain circles of worlds, but we're registered with Ghost Corps, acknowledged that we have a group together as far as the coalition in Kalamazoo. You know, a lot of Ghostbuster groups have them, but it is a thing that they have a studio and a building there, and they've got the original 59 millimeter sitting outside in front of this building. So when my guys went to the 35th, I think it was here recently, to LA, you know, they got to see the car and they held everything right out front of Ghost Corps. So that is a real thing. So it's
Cool.
nice to be acknowledged that they have also openly talked about, like Disney, unfortunately, that they have several projects in mind and things are going to get off the ground according to Ghostbusters. So we're in hopes that will happen. Not to give away too much, but we're hoping
with zero scripts written. Here's our 14 projects.
Sony wants another franchise they can deal with. So I
well,
hope they
Ernie
do.
let it out of the bag too already. That and a couple of the other stars have that there is writing in process as far as a sequel to this one. So we kind of know that. I'm giving you inside dope here, so we kind of know things are happening. So we're just wondering what it's going to be, and is it going to be TV form? Is it going to be movie form? Is there going to be several? Because they talked about doing a brand new animated Ghostbusters, bringing that back too.
Oh, that'd be great.
Who knows?
I mean, I think if I was, use my little crystal ball, that with the explosion of streaming television projects, that you're going to see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it does offer so much more variety and different stories you can tell. And I think The Mandalorian is a great example of that. I think the resurgence of Star Trek is a great example of that. So I'd put my money on that. Just because it's really TV is the new TV. I mean, TV is the new everything as far as the medium, particularly in this post-COVID world where we all spent, 12 to 18 months inside watching everything on TV anyway because you couldn't go outside.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, Sony doesn't have a network or a streaming service, so I would like them to partner with somebody. Really, it would be great if they could partner, have all their content there. But I think maybe they're playing as a free agent at this point. But yeah, so and we'll actually go to that because there's some things that are like leading us where this franchise is going. But let's get into the movie itself. So the movie for me, I will say, I thought it was very well done. And the highest of praise was I didn't hate the kid actors. And that is a hard thing to pull off. I thought the movie just basically said, we're treating our fans with respect. We're not going to overwhelm you with just like catching up to speed. It was, you're right in. We got this family drama. We're going, something that's very, you can represent, family is struggling. I like that was different. It wasn't a family that was well off. And they're just trying to reestablish themselves. And then you had some adventures and some cool characters introduced. You had this cool, I do thought it was funny that they leaned so hard into the first movie, like the same villains, the same, key master.
Right.
I mean, I thought that was a little bit weird versus, going to with Vigo the Carpathian in the second movie, which was kind of a real pivot. No slime in this movie, of course, no spoilers. But even despite that, there were so many cool moments, things that brought me back, the way they embraced it, the way that they got the original cast to be back in this thing. I really enjoyed the movie. I was worried that I was going to be like, oh, they tried too hard, but I think it was a good balance of new and old.
I will say unequivocally, this is probably the favorite movie that I've seen in the theater in a very, very long time. I was engaged. I was having fun. I was having emotions. I was like, they're really touching. You're right. It was nostalgia soup. There's no doubt about it. But it didn't disgust me, like so much of what's an overkill. What's a real overkill of an Easter egg film that came out recently? It's on the tip of my tongue. You're just like, what are they doing with this? But anyway, I mean, you understand the concept that you're just like, hey, remember this thing? Remember this thing we did before? Remember da 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 da? But for so many of us, and again, people who are like Danny and myself, who are in the fandom community and the cosplay and the Comic-Con circuit and whatever it is, we're so inundated by all of this. But the involvement in drawing back to the first film, I don't think inhibited anybody who was a newcomer from being able to enjoy what they were doing, because there was a new cast of quirky characters. I love the kid who was podcast, because April turns to me and said, hey, look, it's you. It's podcast guy. Walking around. And Todd, we don't do that because we record our thing and we don't actually
man on the street microphones interviews.
We don't do the side-by-side deal. We don't be like, now you're on my podcast, here's a recorder. But that is hilarious, and I love that he and Dan Aykroyd had a moment at the end, and he's like, you're my subscriber. Oh, excuse me. You're my subscriber. He says, well, I really feel like the show came together in episode 46. It's a lot of fun. Even Dan Aykroyd himself, though he was really overshooting it in the phone conversation, I thought, that he had with poor McKenna Grace when she was locked up. I was super happy that there was no Crystal Skull vodka, because I was afraid.
Charlie, that's the things that keep us together, is the Crystal Skull. My son is all in that. There's a video series by Dan something, or Retro Dan. I don't know. He does a whole thing about it. It's absolutely hilarious. Oh well. Oh, we've got one. Danny, are we showing a Crystal Head Skull vodka?
Oh no!
Right up there.
If you say it 3 times, Dan Aykroyd appears.
Does he appear? Yeah. Does he appear with a fresh? Does he appear with a fresh bottle of Crystal Skull vodka?
And what's his wife's name? Donna. Oh. Donna, what's her name?
Oh, Donna Dixon.
Yep, she shows up too.
Oh my gosh! Well, I think we've said it at least twice, so let's not tempt fate. Oh, my goodness!
You're crazy with it.
So Danny, we've said our piece. You're a man that's probably, this is right in your wheelhouse, and it could either make you happy or sad. So where did you stand?
I had concerns going into it, but a lot of it disappeared, instantly. A lot of us in the group talked about where there's holes, and you're going to have that with anything you produce. There's a lot of things they kind of left open, like, well, who was Egon's wife? who's the mom of the daughter. What happened to everybody in town when they go to the police station? A couple of these fine little details were just kind of like, well, I'm sure through editing and cutting, a lot of that stuff, didn't make the thing, or they left it out on purpose, maybe for the second one. Other than that, and there's small little things here and there. Other than that, I was over the top excited with it. I too had tears. A lot of the throwback stuff, like the symmetrical book stacking, and you really got to watch when you're going through these scenes as to what you're catching in the background, which throws back to the original days,
Right.
including when they go down inside the bunker where Egon had all of his equipment. And I didn't lose it really. And spoiler alert, I didn't lose it really till the segment where, he shows up. And
that was phenomenal. I was like, how is she doing that? And when they pivot over, I'm like,
oh,
wow.
man. And then when he hugs his daughter, that's when the water
Oh,
worked.
Niagara Falls.
I
Niagara Falls.
blubbered like a kid. And we too have a person like your mother in my group, Nancy Robinson. So when Nancy listens to this,
shut up, Nancy.
It's like, shut up,
There you
Nancy.
go, Nancy.
Yeah, she kept saying things through the whole movie, but you'd point out little things here and there, but very well done. I like that they've brought in a new set of monsters or ghosts, if you will, anomalies. The eyeball one, my wife said, well, what is that supposed to be? I said, well, if you've ever watched the animated series, you'll see the eyeball ghost in there several times.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that on purpose. They threw a lot of things in there from many different genres of Ghostbusters. Like you said, alluding to the video game being the third movie, which Dan will say all the time, that's what they wrote out of that. This being kind of the fourth, but really movie-wise, this is the third movie, as we all recognize it. And I think, people not realizing that they needed to stay through the credits, much like you do most of the movies now.
Right.
They missed out on a lot of things there. And I thought that was very well done because I kept thinking, where's Sigourney? And bang, the same thing with finally giving Winston kind of the backstory he deserved, because they originally changed his story so immensely. Those listening may not know that he was originally written in as a guy who was an ex-Marine and came in with all this stuff about combat experience and all these different things. And they totally, when Ernie said when it came time to film and he got the script, it was totally different. And he's like, well, what exactly am I doing in this movie? I've spent time personally with him, and he is a great human being, great guy. He's from Michigan, Benton Harbor, and we had pizza with him and his family and a childhood friend, and he's just a great guy. But he told us a lot of funny stories about shooting that original movie and doing two as well. And subsequently after, he went into a couple of different things. To do, he has to read for parts. And he said that he got in front of these 20-year-olds who were producing a show called Oz. And he went in there and said, well, have you done anything major in the last few years? Well, I was in this big movie called Ghostbusters. And then they're like, well, which one were you?
Oh, my God.
And he's like, well, are you kidding?
If you see do we need to do a lineup?
Yeah, I would be the black guy. So, yeah, it was just kind of a funny thing. But I was very emotionally moved. I've seen it twice, and we got to actually see it on the 18th due to we did a corporate party that wanted us to be there in our Ghostbusters stuff with our cars.
Awesome.
So we got to go in with them, and then we did the theater thing the next night. And then some of our guys in the coalition, mainly a lot of the Detroit folks, went to New York for the premiere, so they got to see fantastic. It for a lot of us, and they wouldn't tell me anything, man. They were, he played it. Eric played it really well. I said, "So how'd you like it?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was good." That's all he said to me. So I'm like, "How dare you do that to me?" I just wanted a little bit,
it was
like,
a piece of crap. Don't watch it.
Yeah. So then I was worried, but I was pleasantly surprised, as everybody is in our group, and. We finally got the movie I think a lot of the Ghostbuster people wanted, people who have been at this longer than me, and we're happy. I think the last number I checked yesterday or the day before was 111 million already.
That's great.
It's probably gone up since that. So bang. I mean, they spent 75 mil to make it. So
right.
It didn't look like they. It looked like they spent a lot of money on the movie, so that was great. And yeah, I think this is fantastic. By the way, if you have not seen it yet, the movies that made us there's a Ghostbusters
Mhm.
episode on
Oh,
Netflix.
yeah.
It's fantastic. I love that
Yep.
series, and I love that they did that. So it's
I
really
wanted
cool.
to give I want to give her a shout out too, because we got to meet Robin Shelby, who a lot of us Ghostbuster people are friends with. If you don't know that name, Robin played Slimer in the suit in Ghostbusters 2.
Oh,
So when they
wow.
were doing
Okay.
practical effects, that was her first job acting. And she said that she's been asked to do something here soon, so she won't tell us what. So again, inside info speaks to the fact that they've got something cooking somewhere.
Better be something real. I'm a non-believer.
Yeah, I just want to say one other cast. I will call this out. Josh Gad was Muncher. I'm not sure what he was doing because he didn't say anything. He was making a lot of noises. So I mean, it's kind of like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, let's get into the end credits really quick as we go into there. So the first credits, you mentioned Sigourney Weaver showing up. And Olivia Wilde as Gozer the Gozerian, I thought was very interesting as well. J.K. Simmons as Ivo Shander. More there, obviously, when more probably less editing occurs and we get to see more of it. But
I like to bring this up all the time. J.K. Simmons from my hometown of Grosse Pointe, Michigan. That's it.
Because one of Charlie's 18 homes.
That's where I was actually. That's where I'm actually, honest to God, was born.
Yes. So there we go. So we move on to the end credits. We get Sigourney Weaver doing the old flim flam on Bill Murray. Nice throwback. Absolutely loved it. Great. I'm so glad we got the cast coming back and just embracing the fun. The only person we did not get back was Rick Moranis, but you know what? Rick Moranis has only been in a Mint Mobile commercial with Ryan Reynolds since he retired. So that was kind of like a bridge too far, probably. And I don't know if what's his name? It was his name Peck? Walter Peck? Is he still alive? It would have been great if he showed up.
He's still alive.
William Atherton? Yeah. I don't know. I think
Is he
so.
dead? Maybe? I don't know.
No. He's still alive. I don't feel in any sense that we still may not see him, because leaving it the way they did with that second piece, him keeping the torch going, being, Winston, now being, multi-millionaire or billionaire, whatever he may be, buying the firehouse, putting the car back where it belongs. Spoilers, folks.
Right.
Stay through the last credits because we got Sigourney in the mid credits, and then we got this scene, and then we got that cool scene where it was with Annie Potts, and we got it with Egon with the coin.
That was all sandwiched together with the part with Ernie. So that was that
was really cool.
Because he stated that he had the scientist and had the smart cracking guy and so on. And what were you? And I was the sex appeal, he says.
Absolutely. And apparently the businessman too. Yeah. And it was funny because Bill Murray's now in marketing. He's teaching marketing, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. Tony Robbins style. Yeah. He belongs there.
Yeah, exactly.
And Dan's still running his bookshop.
And
I'd love to tell everybody too, because when we do our panels, I say this to people and I get deer in headlight looks, that you watch interviews with Dan now, the Aykroyds, and condolences to his family, because I know
his brother passed away.
They have been writing paranormal books and been involved in UFOs and paranormal from day one, including their father. So a lot of the things that Dan created for this Ghostbuster thing is all based on real theory, based on real science. So I'm happy to tell people that, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like, oh no, it'd take 2 hours for me to go into all of it, but it's all based on very viable theory and scientific things that you could create and build. The proton pack would cost a fortune, it would be heavier than God knows what, and of course, we know unlicensed and unsafe. That probably would be very true, because the tube on the back of that you've got up on the left hand side of your pack, that's supposed to hold plutonium. So
which is good for your health.
Always very good for your health. Always very good for your health. But it's all based on real stuff. And I will tell you, the first ecto I ever built was on a tracker. Okay. And so I ended up taking two directional microphones and I put them in the tubes. I built a little rack. And I didn't have time to get it motorized where it would move. But going forward, I ran those down into the car and into a laptop. I built a laptop holder on the driver's side. And then I also got a night vision camera and I stuck that out there. So we out here in Hartford, Michigan one night decided, well, I'm going to try this equipment and see if it works. So I turned off the headlights while we're going down M43 going into Hartford, and you can't see anything. It's that dark, but I could look over at the monitor my buddy was holding, and I could drive. I could see out of the camera
wow.
because,
Oh,
it was crazy. And then we got to a cemetery, and I turned on the microphones and turned on my Audacity software, and we were able to try to do EVP work. So that stuff could be done if you had enough money. But taking a lot of what we have in this world, folks, for Ghostbusters is we take a lot of junk, we build it into to look like it's doing something, and that's kind of the trick to some of our props. But these packs get expensive, and now Hasbro and everybody's in on it now. And
I was tempted to get the HasLab that
right.
backpack because that's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you still can. It was funny while we're talking. I still have the failing HasLab Rancor thing up.
I didn't want to bring that up, Charlie, because I'm like, this doesn't look good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they just added a new wrinkle to it, and the numbers are going. No, the numbers are climbing again. So, but we're going to leave that for the next episode.
It's the final countdown, Charlie.
We're already we're going to have a HasLab report because it'll be over by the next time we record. So,
absolutely, yeah. We'll get to it. Yeah, so we got to give our reviews now.
Yes, please.
One out of 10 Crystal Skullhead vodkas. Because we have not pitched that enough. We need a sponsor, Mr. Aykroyd. So please sponsor us with your Crystal Skullhead vodka. So Danny, I think it's only appropriate that you go first. So 1 out of 10. Crystal Skullhead vodkas.
I'm going to give it. I want to be generous, but I want to give it 9.5 because, as I said, there's still some story plots and holes, but that may be filled in later. My heart says 10, but if I'm going to be honest here with the review, 9.5. But you know what?
You're a harsh critic with that 9.5.
It's perfection. Yeah, it's hard. It's perfection, folks, because we got kind of what we wanted out of this, and the new wave of kids, even after the girls' movie. There's another wave coming, and young people and old alike are going to be coming along. In fact, we just did a program last night at Wyndham Village, which is a senior facility here, because they were curious as to what we did. And there are a lot of older folks in there, 70 and 80 plus years old, who know what Ghostbusters are.
Oh, yeah, they saw when it was on in the theater. Yeah, we're getting to the point where old people are geeks as well, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So they would give it 10. They all loved it. So, I'll do 9.5.
Oh my gosh, I will, and this is rare, but I will give this one the sweep. This was a 10 for me.
Oh,
I couldn't believe how much I loved it,
oh.
and I can't even believe. I wanted to go back and see it a second time before we did this, but I become so spoiled by. Well, I'll just turn it on again and watch it because so much stuff has been on TV. I got to go to the theater, which means I have to make time to do it, which I haven't been able to do. This was a 10 for me. I will go see this again in the theater because I loved it so much.
Charlie, I got a pass for Celebration. You need it.
We have the VIP program from Celebrations.
Oh, damn you!
But
okay, yes, okay, cool. That works.
Well,
that's how
Danny,
Danny,
if you would like to offer up a pass, we can give it away on the show.
Absolutely.
By all means, if someone would like to do that, so we can offer that up. 9 for me. 9 out of 10. A little nostalgia heavy. I wish they had done like a different villain. Totally get it. But man, that moment with Egon holding that proton pack with his granddaughter. Wow. A lot of heartfelt moments. It brought me back. Ghostbusters is one of my touchstones. I remember where I was as a kid when I saw this movie, so it's up there. And I remember seeing Ghostbusters 2 with Steve Borowski and his parents, and like, that was a weird movie, but it's still Ghostbusters. I love it. So 9 out of 10. So there you go, folks. Let us know what you thought about this movie. Hope you enjoyed it. But man, oh man, this is a great, hopefully, reemergence of this franchise, and they can do more with this. So with that, Danny, though, thank you for being on, and tell people how they can find you and reach out to you.
Thanks for having me. And I'd like to be in touch with you folks, too, at some point after this about carrying your podcast on my network. You guys can reach me at www.unrestrictedparanormal.com. It's not just paranormal. We have other things on there. When you spell unrestricted, though, spell it unrest, okay? Unrest, RXTD, unrestricted. I spelled it a little different. Just so that the Unrestricted Paranormal was taken already. So I had to kind of change it slightly. So unrestrictedparanormal.com, you'll find me out there, as well as the Southern Michigan Paranormals on Facebook. And, of course, the Great Lakes Ghostbuster Coalition on Facebook and the Kalamazoo Ghostbusters on Facebook, and that's all I've got. I'm already running 700 different other things, but those are the main things that you can find us, and you can locate me. And if you guys come over and say hello or follow these guys, if I can get them to come over to the network, just more audience for these guys, and
not ghost.
They're not ghosts. I'm not drinking, folks. I promise. It's
guest
just
hosts or ghosts. Yes,
it's lemonade. That's all it is.
Guest ghost.
If I can get these guys over there, they'll also be heard at unrestrictedradio.com. One last plug. And that is a thing I'm teamed up with. And we have 520,000 potential listeners daily. It's international. We're hooked up with Reverb Nation. So it's not just music channel. Some of my paranormal content and Ghostbuster content goes out on Saturday and Sunday nights, as well as some of the things from my network. So get you guys hooked up. And if you're looking for a sponsor, guys, I might have somebody in mind for you, because Gun Barrel Coffee is one of my sponsors. And I
love coffee.
Yes, me too.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Oh, this is fantastic, Danny. Thank you for being on. This is great. We love to meet new people. I'm slowly trusting Charlie's taste in guests after a few snafus. That's okay.
We don't need to pull on that tapestry.
No. Just kidding.
In the other direction.
This could have been a hit or miss too. No, we're good. Charlie and I got
this is fantastic. So, Charlie, tell people where they can find you on the interwebs. That's not in our credits.
Easy breezy cover squirrel. No, I'm over on Twitter at the C3, spell it out, CEETHREE. That's where you can find me. Also over on Instagram, the USS Grand Petoskey is the chapter of the International Star Trek Fan Club that I run here out of Grand Rapids. We have a website with that domain. You can also find us on Twitter and on Instagram, same handle. And I'm also squirreling about with our Secret Friends Unite Facebook communities, getting all that, posting up there when Hootsuite decides to behave. It's a fairly tricky service, but I always try to have good content going.
Absolutely. And you can find me at Toxtra, and that's all my personal stuff. I try to point us the right direction for all the content and connect with others out there, which is great. And then I'm always pimping our Discord. We've got a lot of cool people that are out there joining our Discord that want to play games, want to connect with us. So if you want a community that you can actually do in real time to play games, get recommendations, ask any questions about Star Trek, Star Wars, geek media, and video games, Discord is where it's at. So that is it for this episode. Thank you everyone for joining us. Danny, it's been a pleasure. Charlie, as always, you and I will be in Chicago potentially next week, which is going to be so much fun, with our original secret friend, Jonathan Sear. It's going to be a hoot. So with that, I say thank you, everyone. And Charlie, sign us out.
Well, gosh, thank you is what I say. I said thank you, friends, as always, for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In a truck.
Who are you going to call? He-Man!
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.